The final word.
Yeah. Go ahead, Jess.
We're talking of basketball diaries.
Yes, indeed.
Get the hell out the way.
People don't know about them basketball diaries, Jesse.
Yeah, man. Like I was just saying before we went live here that I had no idea that Jesse won a national championship in basketball.
Yeah, dog.
Whew. Man, I said, boy, see.
You had to be an athlete.
Man, yeah. My respect went way up.
Especially with North Carolina.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Especially playing North Carolina, like you said. You don't get no North Carolina scholarship if you can't hoop, dog.
No. Especially when he was playing. When he was playing, if you got a scholarship to North Carolina.
Dog, come on. That's when he was at them heydays because Carolina and Duke was putting them out like year in and year out when Jesse was playing.
Right.
But you gotta remember that was when the ACC was the hands down most top team. That's when Maryland was Maryland. You know,
Maryland,
Steve,
Joe Smith, all them guys.
Yeah, you had Wake Forest, Chris Paul was there. NC State had Julius Hyde. Carolina, Duke, J.J. Redick, Sheldon Williams. I mean, Syracuse. I mean, that's when you had. Not Syracuse wasn't in at that time, but who else was it? Somebody else. But you had about 7, 8 teams deep, where it was just like any given day. Georgia Tech had Jared Jack and Will Bynum.
Bynum.
Well, Will Bynum gave us 30.
Jack was a dog.
Nah, it's impressive. Very impressive. And then obviously what happened with you with the reality show with when you put it all together, bro, you have an amazing career.
You gotta fix that, boss. You put 4th and 1, it's 4th and long.
Oh man, let me fix that right now, dog. Go.
Fix it. He said 4th and long. No, not 4th and what?
4th and 1.
Man, my bad. That boy said, forget what you talking about. Fix that.
He said, forget what you talking about, dog. Fix that, dog. He said,
I got you.
now.
Get my name right.
Get it right.
My bad, bro. My bad, just. Say, wait. Pause the show.
Like you said, boss.
Wait a minute.
Not just for me, for the show purpose. I don't want them like, y'all.
Because they're gonna go back and be like, why did you say 4th and 1, Mister? And just 4th and long.
What about 2nd and 2?
Yeah.
2nd and 2.
Third and medium. Third and medium.
He said third and medium. The final word. It's the third and medium.
They be like, wait.
James. How did Pat Summerall said 4th and long, John?
Right, John.
I got it. I fixed it. We good.
You got it?
Yeah.
Okay, well, resend me another one so I can put it on my Facebook. My YouTube.
Man, you finna work me like that, big dog. You gonna work me?
Dog, how about gonna put it on my thing?
Hey, bro, come on.
All right, come on, dog.
All right, dog. I'll wait.
No, you good. I got you. No, I got time. I got you.
It'll be blank. That's fine.
No, I'm gonna send it.
Thank you.
I'm gonna send it.
Literally, people do that every time I go.
I just wanna run it up.
Let's go.
Kinda check or something. I've been really in the field, let up. I've been really in the field, let her rush, I let her feel. Lately, I just wanna run it up. Don't need no deals, I make the deal. Have to take it to a meal. Lately, I just wanna run it up. Kinda check us on. Lately I just wanna run it up. Count that too, count it up. Lately I just wanna run it up. Need them ones, I need them fives. Need them tens, I need that change. To the safe, got blues inside. Rings and pinks, it's all the same. I still save and roll my change. Take some losses when I play, charge it to the game. I'm with L, yeah, I'm with T Black, I'm with Reverend now. I'm with Bay, yeah, I'm with Jay, yeah, I'm with Chuck and now. Still the same, not switching sides, now it's about loyalty. You switch sides off for the bag, and that's worth more to me. I mix Nike with designer, I experiment. You just rock what's on the shelf, and I'm not feeling it. Search for the one, but baby girl, it's nothing real as this. Can't trust a soul, I keep a hammer, call it too
legit.
Yeah.
I've been really in the field, love the rush, I love the feel. Lately, I just wanna run it up.
Alright. So we got the man himself in the building, Mr. Jesse Holley, man. And I think we got you right this time. Let's see if I got it right. Did I get it right?
Yeah.
Here we go.
Alright, there we go. Forgive me for that. I was moving fast. Forgive me for that. And that ain't too funny, big. Don't laugh at me too hard.
Okay. All right, I won't.
All right, we're gonna start with what's hot, and then obviously we're gonna start with you, Jesse. We want to definitely hear from you on this because this is hot, right? So we want to start with what's going on with the running backs, and we seeing them speaking out, right? So you see Derrick Henry coming out, which I'm glad the big boys coming out, right? Yeah. So first, let's just start with you and your thoughts on what's going on with this war at running back.
Yeah, these boys better learn how to backpedal. So all my high school running y'all better learn how to backpedal. I mean, that's just, no. I mean, here's the deal. What teams have realized now, when you talk about being in a salary cap league, and a good portion of that money is going to the quarterback. Then you talk about going to the receiver. Then you talk about going to the left tackle, defensive end, defensive back. And so there's only but so much of the pie to spread around. So now you have to start looking at where can I cut the cost, right? This is a business at the end of the day, right? We have to separate ourselves from fandom, from podcasters, and put ourselves in a business format. And what position wears down the fastest? Let's use our former running back, for example, Ezekiel Elliott. He was a 450 yard, 50 attempt toucher at the Ohio State University, not counting receptions. And so you do, because the NFL say that you have to do at least 3 years in college, and college coaches don't really give a damn about players because all they're worried about is, winning games, getting their bowl games, getting their bonuses, so on and so forth. So now you have a guy in Zeke who had 3 years of probably 600 and something touches. So by the time he got to the league, this is a guy who has had a ton of miles on his body. So now when he comes in, you go from having that in a college level, big time level, to now coming into the league where you're getting wore down even more because you go from playing a 10, 11, 12, maybe 13 game season to now you're playing an 18 game season with the big bulls, right? With the best of the best. So the human body can only take so much. So when you talk about a business situation is, what is the position that we look at that is worn down the fastest and that we can get more of them in a short amount of time and it not affect our overall product and what we want to do offensively that much? It's the running back position. So you begin to trim the fat from those guys, and then you look over what it's been in the National Football League and in the Super Bowl, that no Super Bowl winner has had, has led the league in rushing or whatever it may be since like Emmitt Smith, that's won a Super Bowl. So all the numbers and things begin to look at it and go, all right, if I'm an owner and I have a salary cap and I have to make this thing work, where can I trim the fat? And now it comes to the running backs, and it sucks. But those are the guys who, when you talk about that window, right? The NFL is not for long. When does that tread begin to wear out on those tires? It's at the running back position. Those guys, the tread runs out on their tires the quickest. So
let me raise a question to you, Jesse, because your opening statement is very solid. Everything, you're hitting it right on the money. Let me open up by saying this: how often do these players meet with each other for y'all meetings?
What do you mean? What are you talking about?
Like the player union, when the players collectively meet together, how often do they meet together?
So you have at the beginning of the year, right? So what you'll have
Right.
is every team has a union rep. So every
Right.
team, when I was playing, it was Brady James. So at the beginning of the year, Brady would call a meeting. Not everybody would even show to that meeting, right?
Right.
Especially the vet guys. They were like, "Oh yeah, we're already in." So guys would show up, and then guys like Brady James would say, "All right, guys, here's what we're looking at. Hey, make sure you put money into your your matching whatever your 401k and and they get this information, and then they may have another meeting. I mean, you may get 2 or 3 in a year, and most of the time you don't have your full team or collection of guys in those meetings. A lot of the vet guys like, yeah, been there, done that, heard this, heard that, and then they go out the door. It only comes when these situations, because I was also a part of a lockout season. It only comes then when it begins to impact your bread. Now everybody's full attention, right?
Well, let me say this. This is the reason why I asked you that, because these owners, 32 of them, they are not billionaires by mistake. They meet up every quarter and they talk about the decision makers that they're going to do with these particular players down the line. And the only way that they can get in front of this, Jesse, believe it or not, is for those guys in the CBA to get in front of it with the running back room. I think that they need a specialized salary cap just for them, because they are utilized different. Not one size fit all with these players because of their lifespan is different. Running back lifespan is an average of 3 years. A quarterback can go 10 or more. So they need to have a different collective bargaining agreement with those players. And you can't get ahead of 32 billionaires just by meeting how they are meeting. On top of that, you got 63 players on per team, right? 63 players. So those 63 players, even if the starting players not wanting to get out there and play, right? Those guys, the 10 guys is on the practice squad would say, shoot, give me that opportunity. I would play for peanuts. So there will be somebody that will be willing to cross the line. So that's the only reason why this type of product or this type of results don't happen in basketball, because you don't have 63 individuals, right?
Correct.
So
Correct.
I think that this will be a situation that these owners, the 32 billionaires, not by mistake, will always be ahead of them. And by their crying and stuff like that, they will already say, hey, we let you smoke your weed. We give y'all this and that. You know, you said that you want to have less practicing. You know, we give you that, and we still got an extra game out of you, and we still want more and more out of you, you know? So the NFL owners are playing chess while the players are playing checkers.
I think you hit it exactly on the head. It is so difficult. It is so difficult. And again, as a player who's a part of a lockout, to get 65, let's say 65 times 32 to all agree. It's just not going to happen. You can't get 65 guys to agree in the locker room, let alone 65 guys to agree across the league. So that's always going to be to the owner's advantage, is that they, and you know, it's collusion a lot of the time, but they get together and they say, here's what we are going to do. And here's how we're going to make the most money, keep the most money, and continue to be the most profitable. And that's the one common denominator that they all have. Now, what you do in your collective, you know, stadiums and how you do that thing, that's one thing. But as far as how the collective pot, they all agree on the collective pot because they're all eating from that. You know, it's hard to like you don't see any quarterbacks coming out right now and saying, oh, we need to do something for the running backs. Quarterbacks like, hell no, we about to
No way.
Don't give a damn about that. You don't see the receivers, anyone else saying it, because that's just how it works. You like, yeah, that's my guy, but I ain't messing up my bread because your bread not right. My bread straight. I'm good. I'm a quarterback. I'm gonna get if I'm a top 15 quarterback in the league, I'm gonna get $35 million a year plus. If I'm a top 10 quarterback, I'm gonna get 45. If I'm a top 5, 6, 7 quarterback, I'm gonna get $50 million a year. So
He ain't lying.
How can the running back get? The more for me. I'm gonna make it work whatever said running back is there or not. You know, that's my dude, that's my guy. But that's the thing. The same thing with receivers and tackles and all that other stuff. You just can't get a collective amount of guys. And again, if you took the top 30, if we poll your audience right now, your audience who are avid fans could not name the 32 starting running backs in the National Football League. So outside of your handful of guys who actually have a name, right? King Henry, McCaffrey,
Right.
Dalvin Cook, guys like that. Those owners gonna be like, all right, for the 8-10 of y'all who really complaining about this, good luck.
Right.
Because we got
Good
32 worth millions, and if you don't want to play, cool, that's fine with me because I've already shown you guys. I'm gonna go get 3 guys for $6 million and just divvy the work up between those guys. So they're like I said, they're stuck between a rock and a hard place. The best thing that they can do CBA wise is probably do running back contracts. Running back contracts.
Yeah, there you go.
Running back contracts, and now you get a new deal. So when you become a rookie in the league, this is where they wear you down, right? 4 years, 14, 16, 17 million dollars when you come into the league as a rookie. Now you have to make it to CBA. Hey, now for running backs, it's a 2-year deal. It's a 2-year deal, and then they get to re-up after the 2 years to kind of give them to give the ownership to say, okay, well, now they maybe got 4 more good years. Maybe we can get a little more money then. And then for the player to be able to come back to the table before that tread wears out on their bodies. Because, again, remember, you still have to do 3 years in college.
Yeah.
It's not like it's not like you're coming in the youthfulness of your life when you're 18, 19 years old. You still got to go do 3 years in college. And unless you are, unless you're not getting touched, 3 years of a Bijan Robinson who's been toting the rock every single year for 400, 500, 600 carries is wear and tear on your body. So that goes into what you have to deal with now on the next level, where 3 years and then 4 more years, that's 7 years of wear and tear. The human body just can't take that kind of ground and pound from that position.
Ooh-wee. That's a tough thing. I mean, I feel what you're saying, Jesse.
They better learn how to back pedal, baby. They better learn how to back pedal, go get you 100 million.
Hey.
Run safety. If you play running back, you need to learn how to back pedal.
Oh.
Yeah. I mean, it's tough, dog. I mean, when you look at it, because it's like a no-win situation, but that franchise tag, it seems like it's been the death of players. That's what they tried to negotiate in there a long time ago, and this feels like that franchise tag, that 1-year deal, to me just seems like the death for players, because it's a way for me to see like the owners or the team to just be like, we're going to fleece you, especially the running backs, because you saw what Josh Jacobs did. Tony Pollard gets the same 1-year deal as Josh Jacobs, and Josh Jacobs had 2,000 total yards from scrimmage.
Oh my!
So he gets the same type of deal of a Tony Pollard. You feel what I'm saying? So that's where the frustration is. I can see from the running backs. But as you said, and as we talked about, there's a ton of running backs. That's a position that's very fluid. That's a replaceable position. You can see it even in college. You can replace it very easy, and these owners and these coaches and these teams see that. And if you keep on having continued success, going to Super Bowls, and you don't have a first-round running back and you have a 6th round or a 7th round, you think these teams are going to be like, oh, hold on, we're going to pay these guys this. No, they're going to keep on looking at what's the trend and what's going to happen, because it's a copycat league. Like Jesse said, I think it's going to be a situation. I think they had already talked about this, Jesse. Quote, I don't know if I'm for sure, but they were already talking about doing separate contracts already a couple of years ago, but they haven't put in fruition because the running backs were already talking and complaining about it, much like they did with the rookie salary cap when rookies were coming in automatically making $50-60 million a year, and the older players were already frustrated when quarterbacks, remember when quarterbacks, Sam Bradford, them guys were coming in, never touched the ball, and were making more than the veterans, and they changed that whole rookie scale so it could be one way. I think they do the same type of thing for the running backs maybe down the line, because that's the only way it's going to change, because any other way it's not going to work.
Average greed shall and conquer us all, because reason being is, Jesse, man, we good people, man, but we ain't turning down $10 million. You know, that's just the bottom line. And Tony Pollard, it would be hard pressed for me to tell the brother, man, turn down that $10 million, and the money will always.
He wasn't gonna get it nowhere, though.
Things.
So that's why he had to take it, Law. That's why he had to take it. He wasn't going to get it. And he knew, just like when they were talking about they weren't, they didn't come to a deal. We all knew Tony Pollard wasn't getting a multi-year deal. He's 26 years old. They were going to pay Dallas. What was DeMarco Murray? 26, they let him go. Ezekiel Elliott, 26, let him go. Tony Pollard, 26. You think they're going to sign him on a multi-year deal after they let those other guys go? This was a one-year rental, and I feel like they replace him next year. That's just the way the running back position goes.
Yeah, he wasn't going to turn down, and he was coming off an injury, so he didn't really have a window to throw it out of. At that point, it was like, let me take this $10 million and have this life-changing money because it's guaranteed, and go about my business and hope I can kind of nickel and dime myself these next couple of years and get, $2 million here, $3 million here, and at the end of it all, I come home with, hopefully $20 million at the end of my career. One of the awful things that you talked about, Big Game, was it not necessarily was that first year of the franchise tag. What's killing players is in the new deal they've allowed that second year franchise tag. That's the killer, right? Because if I can do 1 year at $10 million and then don't have to worry about, going out and then getting franchise again, that's really what's hurting all the players across the board is that second year. And to Law's point, when you talk about those 32 brilliant billionaire owners, they're not going to just give you something without them getting something of equal value or greater in return. So if they're looking at a new CBA where the contracts are 2 years, they're going to say, so what about that 18th game we talked about? And what about that 19th game we talked about? It's going to come. It's going to come with some extenuating services. They're not going to give you something where you gain or the player gains some significant financial advantage, and they don't gain anything. They don't work in that any way, shape, or form. They'll tell you that this is a family, but it ain't no family. You don't have the same last name as them. They don't care about you. You're a useful commodity, and when we're done using you up, there's a draft that happens every single spring. I will find the next X, Y, and Z player to replace you. That is why they pay Will McClay the big bucks. He sits in his office all day long, scouring the country, conferences after conferences, leagues after leagues, coast after coast, saying, I need to find the next X, Y, and Z player that's cheaper, younger, and hopefully better than what I have right now.
Jesse, I got to jump in here real quick. Go ahead. Because, Jesse, I honestly feel like this is very, very stat nerdy, right? Because you made an excellent point, especially when you start talking about the lifespan of running backs. Nobody can fight that case. That's a logical business case. I think the problem with this is this philosophy doesn't make room enough for the exception to the rule. So when you get that guy that's a gore, right? Even though they don't come along that often, right?
Right.
You miss those. And sometimes the gore types, right? They can help put you over a hump if you're a contender team. So it's so like philosophy driven that I don't think a lot of these owners are genius about this, because now you got people like Jacobs. You tagged him. He can't. I was like, I can see somebody like Zeke trying to go into their third contract, but your first, I'm like, that's too nerdy for me. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think the biggest picture is when you talk about getting over the hump.
Yeah.
The hump for them is, hey, the guy we paid $50 million to, get us over the hump.
Quarterback.
That's the hump. Yeah. Right? Hey, Devontae Adams, we're not bringing back Josh Jacobs. Guess what? Now I need 1,700 yards from you. I just gave you $100 million. Those are the over the hump guys. And again, that is the philosophy. They're saying, I'm going to get more out of Devontae Adams. His time here is going to be greater. His impact will be greater. I can sell more tickets behind him. Because the thing about the running back position, you need a lot of people. Like the days of Barry Sanders are kind of are dead, right? You need so many other factors for the running game to be legit. I need a decent quarterback. I need a decent passing game. Then I got to have offensive linemen. So when you begin to pay all these people, you're saying, damn, I'm doing a whole lot for a guy to gain 5 yards. When I can give this other guy to matriculate the ball down the field faster. So it's all about the movement of the league. And now it's like fashion, right? Now baggy jeans are coming back. I wore a size 38 jeans when I was 100. I was 150 pounds. I was wearing 38 jeans back in 2002. Right? I'm 227 pounds now, 30 pounds now, and I'm a 36 waist. I ain't putting on no 38 jeans. So, but the baggy jeans are coming back. So it's all a trend. This thing will go up, it'll come down, it'll move around. Something will happen. Somebody will come in, and there will be exceptions to the rule. There will be the team that goes, you know what? King Henry is exception to the rule. Tennessee says, hey, until we find our franchise quarterback, until either Wilt Levis or the kid out of Liberty takes that jump and gives us the distinct advantage at the quarterback position, we have to rely on defense and the running game. So they're saying, yeah, there will be an exception to the rule. Teams will go, yeah, we're going to pay him a little bit more because it's what we do. But I promise you, if Tennessee had Aaron Rodgers, if Tennessee had Herbert or Joe Burrow, King Henry will be expendable. They'll go, hey, buddy, thank you. We ain't giving you all that money. I got this other kid that's going to take us over, get us over the hump, and go get us into the playoffs, into the Super Bowl.
I have one more thing on this topic, Law. I know you want to jump in. Just got one more.
No, you good. You good.
And I'm going to throw this at everybody. I feel like right now, running back, it's you have a recession, then you have a depression. When you have a depression, that's when to buy some of these dudes too, in my opinion. Because going into training camp, their prices are dropping bad. Because as a running back, you also want to put up some yards in a 17-game season to make yourself worthy for 2024. So this is also to where I think owners could be overthinking it, to where, okay, you won. You got all these great running backs going in training camp. This is the time, to me, especially if you the Dallas Cowboys, me and Big Game James debated Cook over Zeke. Now, likely with the price dropping going into training camp, you can almost, as a contender team, pick one, right? So I just feel like these owners are getting that nerdy and goofy where you can lose your eye on the prize, which is to try to win a thing.
Can we have an honest conversation here, guys?
Oh yeah,
go ahead.
Always.
Yeah.
Can we let the Zeke dream go? He's not coming back.
It's not even about Zeke. It's not. It's not even about Zeke. I'm talking about. I'm talking about running back.
You talking about running backs in general.
Yeah.
And I give him what Boss
the
said,
vets.
basically.
Yeah, like because you got good vets not signed. Like.
Yeah, but
here's the thing.
And we
go ahead.
And we got Ronald Jones. Go ahead, Jess.
All right,
I'm gonna break it down after Jesse.
Okay.
And here's it's always when any time, this is in life in general. This is a life lesson from Jesse Holley.
All right.
Anytime
Yeah.
things don't make sense, follow the money. even if you go and you get Dalvin Cook, guess what's gonna happen to Dalvin Cook? He's going to sit behind Tony Pollard. Do you want to know why? Because I'm giving Tony Pollard the fourth most money in the National Football League at the running back position. Go and look it up. Tony Pollard's making $10.1 million this year. I'm not taking $10.1 million and sitting him on the bench or definitively breaking up his carries. Because that was the same thing with Zeke. It was like we was giving Zeke. They're like, wow, people are still playing Zeke because we're giving them $12 million. Guys.
Exactly.
So like, get Zeke off the field. No, you're not going to put $12 million on the field. Sorry. I'm sorry, guys. You're not putting $12 million on the sideline to eat sunflower seeds and Twizzlers. $12 million is going. You're working him into the game plan. So now that we've committed $10.1 million, and I think it's like McCaffrey, I think it's King, Henry, another guy, and he started looking at it. Tony Pollard's in that top 5 list of guys being paid at the running back position. I'm not putting him on the sideline. I'm not splitting carries with him. I'm going to milk this cow until he's dry. And then I'll have to get else. Because if Dalvin Cook comes in here and he's better than Tony Pollard, that's what I have to do. I got to listen to but I have to listen to Boss. I have to listen to Big Game. I have to the law saying, listen to and they're saying, yeah, but we're giving Tony Pollard 10.1. I'm not putting $10 million on the bench, guys. And that's why Zeke had to go. That's why Tony Pollard will now get all the snaps next year, and all those veteran guys that you want and you want to have around, they're going to say, that's going to mess with my bottom line because you're bringing Dalvin Cook. The fan base is going to want to see Dalvin Cook. But I got $10.1 million on the sideline, but I just can't let that, unless he's hurt, unless he is physically hurt, injured, and cannot play. Now, if Tony Pollard gets hurt, all bets are off. I got to go get another guy.
You got to go get another guy. Then you go get that veteran. Yeah. And Jesse, to your point,
but he could be gone by then.
And to your point there, Jesse, you were saying that even with Ezekiel Elliott, the one thing that the agent knew too is that's why they put the no trade clause on him, because they knew the money was everything. Think about this, everybody. In the good book, it says, for the love of money is the root of all evil. But also it says a few stands down that money answereth all things. It don't say a few things. It says literally all things. So when we start to look at these players, this is also a copycat league. And the NFL, everybody, mama, uncle, cousin, looked at what the Kansas City Chiefs just did with Isaiah. And they sitting there saying, well, we may have an Isaiah on this roster, right? By the name of Deuce Vaughn or whoever. It could be Rojo, who they paying peanuts to right now. So they're looking at it, how they can get low, right? Buy low and sell high. So they hoping that RJ or Rojo, or they hoping that Malik Davis, Deuce Vaughn, or the other kid, Rico Didell, they hoping that those boys can perform up to a level that they don't have to pay Tony Pollard for a long term. That's just how it is.
They're not going to pay Tony Pollard long. They're not paying Tony Pollard long term. They're not paying Tony Pollard long term.
That's what I'm saying. That's why they hoping for those boys. Now if Tony Pollard put up 1,400 yards, 12
they're
touchdowns
still not paying him long
independently
term
by himself, shoot, they're going to put that franchise tag back on him again.
Probably
and here's a question, though, guys. Here's a question, and this is a question that I haven't had anybody really adequately answer for me. What do you do if Tony Pollard is injured and you're not getting productivity out of Ronald Jones? And number two, what do you? Here's the second part. What do you do if Ronald Jones is not productive and his best years are behind him? It's going to be the inside of the gap B and A inside runner, because I don't believe Tony Pollard is that guy for 20 to 25 carries a game. If you do that to him, he will get injured. So what are the answers to those questions? That's what's on my mind.
Who are you asking?
I'm asking anybody who wants to answer.
No, because I need to put the camera on him, big dog.
Anybody want to?
I'll start.
Let's take you, Holley. Go ahead.
This is why they paid Will McClay so much money. The answer is if he doesn't, if they don't, then it's Will McClay's job to go find one of those veteran running backs. Or then you go to your quarterback and you say, hey, we're not getting productivity for the running back game. So Mike McCarthy, you have to devise a new team. This is when you talk about the complete package of the NFL offense or defense. If we're not getting productivity from a certain area, Will McClay, your new job now is to find me a back that can come in here and give me some productivity, and we're not paying a lot of money for him. So do your job. Is why we pay you all this money and give you all this praise. Mike McCarthy, you have to find a new way for us to win football games by hook or by crook. And then you say, all right, guys, next man up, Rico, Malik Davis, or whoever that next guy is. You have to find ways to get it done, or you have to change the way you're doing business. That's the nature of it. That you either adapt or you die. And if you and you can't find
there you go
that you are having, then guess what? Mike McCarthy, see you later. You're not the guy who we thought you was. Brian Schottenheimer, see you later. You ain't the guy who we thought we was. Dak Prescott, you wanted that extra money, right? You want that new long-term deal? See ya. You're not the guy who we thought about. This is what the business of football comes down to. If I don't have an answer for it, and if I can't find an answer from the guy that I paid $5 million to, Will McClay, who's probably making close to $1 million a year, whatever the OC is, and then it comes back to my soon-to-be $50 million quarterback. If you guys collectively can't find an answer to the question that we're having or the issue that we're having, then I need to make changes with you guys as well. That's why you hire those guys. That's why you have these people on board. This is why you regarded Will McClay as such high prestige because of the ability to find players. This is why you say Dak is your franchise quarterback. This is why we brought Mike McCarthy in because of his offensive genius. That is the answer to the question if the ifs happen in the backfield when Tony Pollard gets injured or Ronald Jones not productive or Malik Davis isn't what he is or Rico isn't what he is or Deuce, whatever those guys are. If you can't find an answer to it, then you guys have to be replaced as well.
Hold on.
Give him to him.
That boy good. That boy's good. All right, here we go. Now, you know, because this is the thing. We talked about this tag, right? And I actually hate the philosophy of playing a guy because he was paid. I hate it. But it happens. I agree. You know, I know you like it's reality, but I'm just being honest. I hate it because in a perfect world, I would want the guy who looked like he's showing a progression, regardless of his payroll, to actually play. But the reality of how people, they can be reverse cheap, so they a lot of times make that mistake, in my opinion. But this is the thing I want to throw out there, in my opinion. When I look at a lot of these owners, right, or even the Dallas Cowboys, the tag's supposed to be working for them. I think they losing from the tag. I think they greatly losing, especially when the tag, for everybody that knows how the tag works, dollar for dollar, it's gonna come out of that current year's cap. So they put $31 million on Dak for 5 games. They lost on that. Then they paid Schultz $10 million and cut him the next year. They lost on that. Now you just you tag Pollard and he now one of the highest paid. It's like,
boss, you know that he was never going to get a deal though. We all knew Tony Pollard was never going to deal. Like everybody on this panel can't say we all knew when Ezekiel Elliott was about to go with the money. We knew Tony Pollard was going to get franchise tagged. We knew he was going to sign the tag. We also know that he's only going to get that 1-year deal, and it's going to be over no matter what kind of numbers he gets. He's going to be 27 years old. They're going to look at that, and they're going to be like, we're good. And this is the evaluation of the Malik Davis, the R. Jones, or Deuce Vaughn. This is their evaluation of him. If y'all can do a little bit for us this year, we're going to go ahead and take care of you. And look at all those guys that they have. Deuce Vaughn, what? 6th round? Malik Davis, undrafted. Rico Dowdell, undrafted. Jones, picked up off the sand lot. All those guys, look at them, all cheap and half of them weren't even drafted. So that's just the way the law is going. And I don't know where it's ever going to change as far as that running back position. You saw Bijan Robinson, but you see the back and forth. All these running backs, people just don't want to even touch a running back really before round 2.
Big, you know what I smell?
Oh my gosh, man! Come on.
I smell.
I don't think the Cowboys lost on the tag. They didn't lose that. The Cowboys, remember a couple of years ago, it was Jason Garrett was saying something about losing the team on Sunday, and I remember telling people, "Nah, he never lost the team on Sunday. He lost the team on Monday, and Tuesday, and Wednesday, and Thursday, and Friday. The Cowboys aren't losing the tag." They're losing because they're bad gamblers. Because you could have got back for $25 million a year, and you thought about it, and you said, well, give me 1 more year. And then he got better. And he got better. And he was like, damn, now I'm stuck. Right? Same thing with Schultz. If you wanted to give him a deal a couple years ago, you could have. If you wanted to give Tony Pollard a deal 2 years ago because that was going to be your future, you could have said then when Tony Pollard was really making pennies, you could have said, listen, Tony, you're backing up Zeke. He's probably going to be our running back for the future or whatever, blah, 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 blah. Hey, we're going to give you a 4-year deal worth $12 million.
Yeah,
we're going to give
that's
you
true.
$6 million, $7 million guaranteed. I promise you, he would have broke his finger jumping and getting the pin so fast trying to sign that. And he would have come long term. So the Cowboys have had shot themselves in the foot with their inability to gamble properly or to see the future properly from
see the guys. Future properly.
Yeah. If you had taken Tony Pollard 2 years ago and said, listen, TP, I got a 4-year, $12 million deal for you, $15 million deal for you, $8 million guaranteed, and you can work up. Bro, he was making a couple $100,000. Of course he would have taken it, without a shadow of a doubt. But now you find yourself on the back end where you say, Neek's not what he is anymore. And now what do we do at running back? And your team, the Cowboys have done this to themselves where they're good enough to always give you that hope of, could this be our year? Is it our year? So I can't afford to lose any of these pieces because of the continuity of, man, we might be close. We might be a player too. And if I lose Tony Pollard, how far that it sets us back? Okay, give him the franchise tag. Now you 10.1 in the hole, and now you got to deal with that for the next year.
But hey,
Jesse, this is what they do.
Just
I was gonna say they just do this out of a philosophy. It used to be that they give them long-term contracts when they hurt, but now they just give them franchise tags. Because remember, Tyrone Crawford, he got hurt, and they gave him a long-term contract deal. Oh, and excuse me, Barry Church, shout out to my dog. He got hurt, and they said, okay, now it's time for us to scoop in and give him a long-term contract. So the Cowboys known to approach players when they're hurt or when they're down to give them that long-term deal. And excuse me, I hate to say this, but they did that too with my guy, Dak Prescott. He got hurt, and then they said, you know what? Let's just go ahead and pony up and pay the man. So the Cowboys, it's a trend. That's all I'm saying, and I can see it. Go ahead, OC.
Well, one thing I would say is this. I don't know if it's forecasting the future. I think it's a little bit of stubbornness because they're unwilling to pay max dollars willingly to players that even deserve it. So like Dak Prescott as an example, yeah, you could have signed him for $28 million. You also could have done that to Zeke, after his second and 2.5 years. You could have signed him early. You could have did it to Tony Pollard, to your point, Holley. I just think the Cowboys have a philosophy that they're going to make you prove it to the bloody end, and it ends up always hurting the Cowboys in some type of way financially. I really wish that the Cowboys would have the Patriot way. So the Patriot way is that they would sign you early. What they did with Gronkowski, if you look back at his rookie deal after his second year, when he was turning up, they went ahead and extended it. Right? They did it to all their players, and then they would cut you a year before you got all the way to the bottom of your prime. So while you still had some value, they would trade you, and get some value for you. So the Cowboys have exactly. And they did it to Richard Seymour, if you even go further back in the day. Right? So the Cowboys have they have a philosophy that is really weird, and I think it's stubborn. That's my opinion.
Great observation, man.
Man,
they paid Gronk and Aaron Hernandez in that same year.
Right.
Yep.
Hey,
were you there? Were you there, Holley?
I was there.
See, I want to talk about New England too. Now, this is the thing. Jesse is not just Mr. Fourth and Long. Jesse also got signed to another team. It's not just reality TV that people wanted him, right? So, I was looking at this article, right, about you. I'm going to pull it up real quick and show it. But it was highlighting, obviously, your road and kind of what you went through. But one of the things it brought up is when you looked at the New England playbook, you called it Japanese or something like that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So what I want to ask you, as a former NFL receiver, did they run option routes at New England?
Oh.
Yes. well, here's what the option route is different. The option routes in New England was different than what I run in Dallas.
Okay.
But while I said it was Japanese was because here's what the Patriots get you in their offense is the Patriots will run the same play in 7 different formations. So what the Patriots do is they say, how can I get the matchup that I want? How can I get Gronk on a linebacker? How can I get Gronk on a safety? How can I get Julian Edelman or Wes Welker in space? And they'll say, okay, If I run this particular concept, then I get the matchup that I want. Well, now all they would do is, again, if you go back and if you watch New England sets, they run the same plays. They have a core set of plays that they will run, no lie, I'm not making this up, 9 different ways. And they'll do it to get the matchup that they want. They'll do it to get every single time, okay, third down, I want to get Julian Edelman on the safety. Okay, well, how I would run it with Gronk. I'll just put Julian Edelman in that position. That's why you have to be so intelligent to play at New England, is because you have to know as a receiver what it looks like from the tight end position, because you're going to run that route from there. And because that's the matchup that you want to get. So it's an option, but it's a different type of option route than what I read in Dallas. Excuse the computer second. That's my dog wanting to be on.
Nah, you good. Appreciate the game. Appreciate the game.
And in the route from New England, this is what made them so dynamic. Was you would have a change of route mid-route. This is why New England never really looked at, were you the most athletic, were you the biggest, the tallest, the fastest. New England always wanted to know, were you intelligent enough? And I'm not knocking any players on the Cowboys whatsoever or any other players. But New England always wanted to know, are you intelligent enough to make the adjustments on the run? And if you talk to anybody that's in the New England offense, they'll tell you it takes you a legit 2 years to be in that offense to fully understand it, because literally you can be in mid-route and they have an answer for when that safety is up in the single high safety, and then all of a sudden now mid-route it goes to middle of the field open 2 high safety.
Yeah.
You better know the adjustment right then and there. Because
you're bringing a good point up, because one of the coldest route runners I ever seen in my life, man, Chad Johnson, he went there and became pedestrian. And was that because of the fact that he had to do all of those things?
Yeah, same thing with Reggie Wayne. Because Reggie Wayne, Chad Johnson, my guy Andrew Hawkins, when you're in another system, especially when you're the guy, right? Chad and Reggie Wayne, back in their prime, the X receiver was the guy. So everything was predicated on what the X receiver could do. And then those offenses were bent around what their skill set was. And New England is not like that. In New England is...
Can I ask you this, though, Jesse? And I'm bringing this up to tie it in back to the Cowboys. When I look at Jalen Tolbert, like college tape, what he did at South Alabama, I saw a 4-4 guy. I saw a guy that was explosive at the top of his route. I saw a guy that I was looking at it like he was in between Michael Gallup and CeeDee Lamb. He was one of those guys with the twitches and everything. And now that you say that, do you think that right now that what Mike McCarthy is going to do with this offensive play calling, that we should see some of that skill set at least transfer over, or he just a bad guy for us?
I hope. I really do hope. And the thing is with Jalen, I said this a lot last year, Jalen, the skills are there. The skills are there. His biggest issue was he couldn't take the meeting room to the football field on Sunday. And that's the part. And I always go back to the point where he was looking at the ball to line up offsides. I know that. No. It's funny. It's funny, but I know that feeling.
Yeah.
When you get into the game and your mind is racing 1,000 miles a minute, and you hear the play in the huddle, and you're trying to figure out what you got, and the defense is moving, and Dak is screaming, and the defense is screaming, the crowd is screaming, and you're saying, "Wait, did Dak check it? What do I?" And you're looking in, and you're saying, "Wait, what do I have? What's going on?" All right, no. Before it was because in college, what happens is Jalen Tolbert gets in the huddle in college, and they go Domino Pizza right.
Right.
That's the play call. Domino Pizza right.
Yeah, that's it.
And now he gets the NFL huddle, and they go, all right, here we go, guys. 11 personnel, jet sweep right, 365, Ringo, Tango, Max, check on one, check the black. And now you go, wait, what?
Mm-hmm. What
does that mean?
Yeah.
And so it was just hard for him to translate, from what he was used to in college to what he had to used to in the NFL. But my hope is that Mike McCarthy, and let me say this, back to what New England did. New England was very special with, when I sat down and talked with Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick says, here's what I need you to do, Jesse Holley? And he gave me a list of things. He said, can you do that? I said, yes. He said, if you can't, you won't be here. If you can't do it at a high level, you won't be here. So Bill is always saying, I'm not going to put you in a box. I'm going to allow you to do the things that I think you can do. And hopefully that helps us bring success. If not, I'm going to find somebody else. And that's the thing that, most teams don't do. Like, all right, when you watch Wes Welker run underneath routes or seam routes, it was what he really did well. He understood leverage. He understood how to get open in tight spaces. That's why he ran the underneath route. That's why you had a guy like Brandon. What's Brandon? Shoot, I go blank. Who I was there with in New England do certain things. In the Cowboys' offense, the thing that hurt them the most, to me, which I hope is different with Mike McCarthy, is Kellen Moore, like Jason Garrett, was so stubborn in their ways. They ran a lot of man concept routes. Go back and look at the games that we really struggled in. Team just said, hey, we're going to play zone. We're going to play zone, and they're going to run this man-to-man route right to us.
Yep, sit on the routes.
And they just sit there. They're saying, all right, you might complete now, but eventually I'm going to jump it. And go back and watch the games that we lost. They was jumping routes, guys. Even the tip pass, guys were right there. Like, you go back to the Jacksonville game. Like, even if Noah Brown catches the ball, he gonna get his door knocked. Go back and watch the San Fran game this year and the year before that. They were just saying, bro, we're going to play zone, and you're going to give us one or two because that's just what we're going to do. And we're going to know you keep running these man routes into zone. You keep running these man concept routes and concepts into this zone, and we're just going to wait on it. It might not happen in the first quarter.
I know I am. I'm going to sit on those. Yep.
We're going to wait, and you're going to give us one. Y'all going to mess up. Somebody's going to be off kilter. Somebody's going to think the ball ain't coming to them. And that's where the mistakes begin to happen. So I'm hoping with this offense, with Mike McCarthy, he now utilizes those guys for their strengths, a la what Dan Quinn does defensively, where he's saying, I'm not going to keep guys out there long enough to get exposed. I'm going to use them in situational areas of football where I know they can be good at, and I'm going to get their butt off the field for the next guy to come in. So I hope that Mike McCarthy adopts that knowledge from there and does it offensively with guys like Jalen Tolbert, Bruce Vaughn, the other small receiver that we have that's fast.
Hell yeah.
Real quick. We should have a full house now, so I want to go ahead and talk about something that's also happening this week. We got Jesse Holley, Mr. Fourth and Long, which, by the way, I'm enjoying it, man. You killing it. You killing it. I'm enjoying it.
I'm half-stepping with you guys. Y'all.
No, you going hard, Jesse. It's very rare that we sit back and listen. You know what I mean? We would jump in, but you doing your thing. We also have Jess coming in tomorrow. She's changed. She's no longer with blocking the ball, so we're going to talk about that. So I want to mention her as well as Jay Tucker will be in tomorrow. I also want to give you an opportunity to talk about what you got going on coming into the season, and then we'll get into the other topics, Jesse. But I want you to talk about what you got going on with A to Z, what you got going on with .com, just real quick.
I'm out here in these podcast streets this year, man. I got DallasCowboys.com. I'll be doing a weekly show with Nate Newton, Kurt Daniels, and my guy Shannon Gross is coming back, hanging with the boys. That'll be, like I said, when the season starts, it'll be weekly. The training camp starts, it'll be like 2 or 3 times a week. DallasCowboys.com, you can find hanging with the boys. Of course, you guys know him. You know him well. My little brother, Will Steele, he and I rock out for A to Z Sports Dallas. We do the pre-halftime and post-game show. So you can find us always doing that. I believe we're going to be at Texas Live again this year. So if you're in town for the game, pull up on it, say what's up to us. I also work with Jeff Kavanaugh. I have another podcast on Believe Network. It's called Believe in the Cowboys with Jesse Holley. Me and Jeff, we do that one. And then I'm in the lab because, a lot of times you work for a lot of different people, you do a lot of different things, and it's great. And you guys have been killing it. And this is to steal the saying on Law's hat, new media. I'm working on now doing my own thing and bringing my own podcast to the streets. I'm going to have some Cowboy-based stuff, but I'm also going to talk about all sports, right? Basketball is my first love, football, current events, all that kind of stuff. So I'm gonna be outside. I'm gonna be outside in the podcast world, trying to just bring what I bring. My saying on DallasCowboys.com is, I'm the sports equivalent of talking Braille. People feel me when I speak. So I'm gonna just make sure I'm bringing that on all levels. And so just want to make sure that you guys continue to tune in. And I do want to say something to you guys before we move on. I want to applaud you guys for what you do. You guys have been plugging away at this. Law and Boss, you and I have had many conversations, right? I've talked it up a lot. This is my first time to meet you, OC. We never, I don't believe we met before.
OC.
No, we have.
Big games, I've known you, big game James. I appreciate him so much because he gives that OG love.
Yeah.
On the side, he and I have conversations on the side. He kind of sometimes reels me back in. Like I could be a little bit modified. Always for that. But you guys are doing a wonderful job, man, in what you do. And the only thing guys like got a chance to meet Botch, and of course Will Skywalker is that's my little bro, man. I love that. That's one of the most talented dudes around. I love that dude. There's so many doing so many great things out here. I want you guys to continue to do that. And what I want you to understand is this, and maybe this is some OG messaging to you guys. When I know it's frustrating when you watch the national media and you see guys on the first fakes and all that kind of stuff, and they're just talking crazy. It's like, I hate that stuff. No, you need that stuff.
Yeah.
Trust me. I'm not saying applaud it, but appreciate it, because you know why? As long as you continue to give genuine, good, knowledgeable, insightful content, what's going to happen is it's just the way the world works. People are going to get tired of listening to that mumbo jumbo. They're going to find their way to the real. So you don't want that to go away. You want to keep it. You want to keep the Sean McCoys up there. Because what you're going to do, it may not happen today. It may not happen tomorrow. But someone's going to tell someone about authentic coverage of Cowboys. And they're going to go, wait, I'm tired of hearing these guys on the national network. And they're going to say, oh, let me think about these guys. Find a word, Big Game James, OC, Law, Boss, all these guys, and they're gonna filter to you. I promise. So don't fight the networks. Don't fight the big names.
Right.
Let them stay. Let them do what they do, and just know that eventually the real will be found. It's inevitable. You can only digest the fake for so long. So stay doing what you do. They're gonna come. If you build it, they will come. Enough Cowboy fans in the world, this is America's team, are gonna find the final word, because they're sick and tired of hearing the national media who doesn't have insight, who doesn't have boots on the ground, who's not connected to what's happening right here locally each and every day for the Cowboys. So let LaShawn McCoy and Skip and all the other people on TV and say, get these on TV. No, guys. No. They are necessary for your success. And let them continue to drive the people to your show, and you keep doing what the hell you're doing. So bravo and salute to you guys. I just want to get that out the way and say that you guys are doing a phenomenal job.
You want answers? Such wisdom, Jesse. Such wisdom, man. I appreciate that, brother, man. That was wisdom. That was like out of the mouth of God. Man, I appreciate that, Jesse. I'm serious, man. That was a lot of wisdom. No, for real, man. That was a lot of just wisdom. That just was wisdom, man. Really, I appreciate it, man. Y'all go ahead.
Yeah, Law, you had something.
No, I was just gonna say, yeah, they the GMOs, man. We organic over here, man. So that's why everybody love it. You know, GMO may fix you up for a few times, but for the real long-term journey, go get the organic product right here with Law Nation Sports, Boss Cowboy Sports, the OC, and as well as Big Game James, Botch Lombardi,
you
and
want
Skywalker
answers?
Steele, and all of my guys, man. Jay Took, all of my boys, man. So we the organic supply, baby. Everybody else is GMO over there on the 4-letter, 3-letter networks. Come on, baby.
All right, we gonna get back to ball just real quick, but hey, appreciate that, Jess. That was dope, real dope. So we were gonna talk about these interceptions and stuff like that. So obviously, Dak was taken out of context with he's not gonna throw 10 and whatnot. But the big thing that he was talking about is that the receivers are gonna be where they was supposed to be. Dak is not going to throw anybody under the bus, so he's not talking about his receivers. He's not talking about Kellen Moore. I just think he's been honest that they are obviously pulling back as many option routes, and it's going to be more decisive with the route running, which he thinks is going to help them concentrate on catches, which is going to lead to less interceptions. That's the interpretation I got in context. But I wanted to just kind of get y'all thoughts about what Dak was talking about in context. So we're going to obviously start back with you, Jesse, because it's receiver related.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing when it comes to Dak Prescott, where he first and foremost, as the leader of this team, has to be the man in the mirror and look and say, what can I get better? And the thing about Dak, and I think the one thing that you always hear about Dak when you're describing Dak Prescott as a football player, they say his leadership, right? How good of a leader he is. And when I look at Dak, and my brother Scott can tell you this, when we sit down and we watch football games, I often tell him, you know, Dak will make a throw certain times in the game, and I go, I know that pass was completed, that ball shouldn't have went there. And what ends up happening is that when you do that often, you sometimes get enamored and thinking that you can go to that well again. And the biggest thing for Dak, what he has to do first is he has to understand his limitations. I think when players always say, I don't listen to what the media says, I don't hear what the outside noise says. Any other player, let me tell you guys, if any player ever tells you that, he and everybody around him are absolute liars. You're exactly like you think Dak don't hear what people are saying about him. And I think if there was one chink in Dak's armor is when Dak really officially became the quarterback of America's team, and I think it would be anybody. Dak wanted to remove that I'm a bus driver mentality. I'm a game manager mentality. They're paying me like the top tier quarterbacks, and the only way I get mentioned with the Rodgers and the Mahomes and the Herberts of the world is I now have to throw the football like them. And so you get into this situation where it's like now I have to be a gunslinger too. I have to make the narrow window throws too. I have to put the team on my back too. And the analogy that I used last season was if anybody has kids and put their kids on a bus to go to school, don't you want that bus driver to get your kids there safely and home safely? There's nothing wrong with being a bus driver. There's nothing wrong with that. If bus driving means I'm going to get my group of people to the destination safely and sound, that is a success. So be that. And it doesn't mean that you're bad. We've put this connotation of being a game manager or a bus driver into the negative box. Well, if it wins me football games and it takes me to a place of where I want to be, then be that. Football, honestly, when you look at it from a player's perspective, and you heard coaches say it before, it really do come down to about 3 or 4 plays a game. And you know why they gave Patrick Mahomes $500 million? Because in those 3 or 4 plays a game that Patrick Mahomes, he shows up in those 3 or 4 plays. It ain't the other 70 that they're worried about. I can get Matt Castle to come in and do the other 70. I can get other guys to come in. You know, we watched this year. Who was the backup quarterback for the Cowboys? I'm drawing a blank.
Cooper Rush.
We watched Cooper Rush come in here and do the 70. It's what can you do when I need those 4 or 5 crucial plays in a football game. You don't know when they're going to come. You don't know how they're going to come. But you pay that guy to make those plays. So for Dak Prescott, he has to look at himself and says, how can I rein myself back in, right? Rein myself back in. And it's okay for me to take profit. It's okay for me to say, you know what? The check down was there. Go back and watch those interceptions. You're saying, you kind of forced that one in there. That one didn't have to go there. Take the profit, check it down, throw it to the smaller guy. Throw it to the shorter guy. And when you have a defense that's led by Michael Parsons that can get you the ball back, say, you know what, guys? It's okay to punt. It's okay to punt because that squad's going to give me the ball back. I don't have to press and force and put my way and my team in hurtful situations. So it starts with Dak first, with him realizing that he doesn't have the arm of Aaron Rodgers. He doesn't. He can't roll out left and be off platform and throw a dart to the sideline 40 yards down the field to a tight end on the rope that if it's 6 inches wider, he's out of bounds. If it's 6 inches inside, it's a pass deflected. He doesn't have that arm, and that's okay. But you have to play within the strength that you do have and maximize that and not try to be Aaron Rodgers. And then for the rest of those guys, it's, hey, when I go to you, CeeDee Lamb, I need you to be Devontae Adams in those 4 or 5 plays. I need you to be Justin Jefferson in those 4 or 5 plays. So that's the give and take between having that quarterback be where they need to be and then having those other guys be where they need to be. You know, when you had Noah Brown out there, it's sometimes you got to say to yourself, I think it was you guys had Terrence Williams on the other day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was Tony Romo. You got to be that guy and say, hey, don't run that route. Run this route and set it up. That's what you have to be going for your 8th or 9th year for Dak Prescott. You have to be that determining factor for your football team in those plays, those 4 or 5 plays in that football game that will determine the outcome of the game.
No doubt. Man, you spit the truth on that one, man.
Well, I'm gonna agree with that, but I'm gonna add a couple things. One thing I'm gonna add is what Brian Broaddus said when he was on the show. Remember when we were all talking about the DNA thing?
Yep.
And we were trying to find out what were you talking about. I'm gonna say that I'll agree with the point that I think Dak needs to have it to where what Brian Broaddus was saying, that just to your point, Jesse, Noah Brown, you done dropped 2 passes. I'm not going to you no more right now. I'm going to go to somebody else because they making plays. He would keep on trying to force it to a Noah Brown or go to somebody, and Noah Brown wasn't doing it. You get what I'm saying? Or somebody else on the team wasn't doing it. So I think maybe to a fault he was still trying to be, I'm going to keep everybody involved. But sometimes you just say, I can't go to you, dog. I got to go to my dogs. Go in this huddle, I'm throwing the ball to you, and you're going to make these plays. I might have to go to you 6 or 7 times in this drive and make that play. I can't go to a Noah Brown right now. I can't go to a Michael Gallup. He's hurt. He's not hitting that route. I can't do that. I might have to go underneath. So I think that's where he needs to be able to do that as well, be able to find those hot guys and kind of stay with it. And then also I think we got better receivers too, though, now. Last year we were playing on a half a deck. So I think that's going to help Dak too, is that you got a Brandon Cooks. I feel like you're going to have a healthier Michael Gallup. But if you're really saying it, what you just said, Jesse, about he trying to do too much because of the pressure of the people, I think that's very true, that he was trying to let everybody know. And I think the Cowboys were too, in my opinion. They were like, we paid you this money. We want to see you throw that ball. We paid you all this money. We don't want to see you throw 20 times. 15, 20 times game and hand it off. We just paid you a highest paid quarterback. Get out there and throw that ball and show us. And I think maybe they were on it too. He was feeling it, and I feel like the organization was doing it too, to prove, hey, we got a franchise quarterback. We need to throw this ball. And I think Kellen Moore may have had a hand in that, to say, well, we just paid this guy all this money. Let's show we can throw this ball. Because let's look at the 2020 season. Dog was averaging like what? 400 yards a game, averaging like 49 passes a game before he got hurt. And that's like right when he signed his little franchise tag deal. So I think they were all had their hand in trying to prove that Dak was a franchise quarterback. And I think that's what maybe kind of blows up sometimes. And like you said, 30-30 club for me, dog. It's okay to throw the ball 30 times and run it 30 times, or it's okay to throw it 25 times and still come out of that game and win it, because guess what? Dak don't got to be the savior, in my opinion, because we got a kick-ass defense now. If we didn't have that kick-ass defense, then I feel like it would be more pressure for him to throw that ball. We got that defense now. So it, to me, should be a less pressure on him to go out there and say, I got to make every play, because you can rest on his defense now. Hey, I love being a Cowboy.
Big game James.
Game changer.
Let's have some fun. Let's have a good time, man. Let's kick it.
Yeah, man. I think that, man. I mean, at the end of the day, man, with the Dallas Cowboys, man, it's going to be about consistency and decision making. And I think that on either side of the ball, whatever route concepts you have in place with the West Coast offense and whatever you're going to do defensively. I mean, I feel like the defense is going to be great. I feel like we're going to be a top 5 defense as long as we don't have turnovers and as long as we don't have a lot of sudden change stuff where they get short arrests and things like that. But as long as we're just responsible with the play calling, and I think that Mike McCarthy and Brian Schottenheimer, they're going to be that this year for the Cowboys. They're going to be extremely responsible. They're going to run when we should run. They're going to throw when we should pass the ball, and they're going to mix it up and take advantage of matchups. And I feel like if we do that and we're just sound, we're going to be okay. We got the pieces. We got enough talent to go very, very deep. And in my opinion, that's exactly what they're going to do. I think overall they're going to be sound. Dak Prescott is going to go back to being more what he was his first couple of years, playing more complementary football and being more of a play-action quarterback. Rolling out to his right in particular is where he does extremely well, and winning with good throws with one-on-one receivers.
No doubt, no doubt. When we look at all of these things with Dak Prescott, we still want him to step up. And a lot of people say, well, Law, you're a Dak Prescott apologist. No. I think that the team need to play complementary football. And one thing that we need to see more out of Dak Prescott is to have the FU attitude. When you see that person drop that ball that you perfectly placed, never look to them again, because that is what exactly this guy would say.
Want to talk about a playmaker? That's a playmaker. He made the play.
You see, when Troy was out there, and he knew that he had to go with Michael Irvin. Everybody knew that Michael Irvin was going to be the guy to go get that ball, right? So if Troy tried to throw it to another guy and he dropped that ball, look, Mike going to be like, hey, what the world is going on here? And on top of that, when you start thinking about the other quarterbacks that's in the National Football League, like the Pat Mahomes, everybody, mama, uncle, cousin know that Travis Kelce is going to get that ball because that's his bread and butter. Even if you look at Joe Burrows, everybody know Chase is going to get that ball. And for small shades of degree, even last year with Jalen Hurts, everybody knew that A.J. Brown was going to get the ball. So the Dak Prescott heading into the 2023 season needs to find that guy that he know for sure that he's going to deliver that ball to, and it should be a guy that wear 88 on his chest, and that guy should be C.D. Lamb. He should have that chemistry with that guy, and everything should work his way out and play that complementary football. I think that it was 50-1 now? We only lost one game in the Cowboys' history when we were up against the Green Bay Packers because we refused to run the ball. We refused to keep the lead. So the Cowboys, I get it. Dak Prescott need to step it up into those degree and understand that he got to find his playmaker and continue to hit him. But on top of that, we need to play this complementary football and keep things steady. And slow and steady wins the race.
Your point, Law. The difference between the 88 that you played, the audio that boss played, and the 88 that we have on this team right now, you're right. I'm going to walk up to the sideline and say, hey, Troy, hey, listen, man, don't go over there no more. You come to me. I think C.D. Lamb's a little bit more reserved, a little bit more laid back. He kind of doesn't really blow up like that or really come to Dak with that type of energy. And the second thing is, we talk about Chase, when you talk about Travis Kelce, when you talk about Cooper Kupp, those guys, and you said, hey, I'm going to – Matthew Stafford won a Super Bowl. Odell Beckham is out. The game's on the line. Everybody in the mamas knew, hey, guys, they're going to Cooper Kupp. But you know what they had to their advantage? They had a guy that was saying, I'm going to line Cooper Kupp in so many different positions that you're not going to be able to key on him. That's what Andy Reid and Eric Bieniemy has done with a guy like Travis Kelce. That's what guys have done with Cincinnati with guys like Jamar Chase. That's the one thing that the Cowboys refuse to do a lot of times and the only time, and it was successful, people called it, when CD would come in motion and tuck the chain in, right? It was like, finally give us something where we can identify what's actually happening. The Cowboys, a lot of times, they just line up. And when you just line up, you give the defense the advantage. Those other teams are saying, I'm going to put Travis Kelce in the backfield. I'm going to put him out wide. I'm going to put him close, a lot of in the short set. Because now you can't just guard them and you can't just get them up in that type of way. The Cowboys also have to get more creative in saying, yeah, we are going to 88. That's right. We're going to
give it to them.
He's going to be outside the numbers on this play. He's going to be in the slot on this play. He's going to line up in tight formation. We're going to put him in bunch. We're going to put him in motion. Line him up in so many different ways that teams can't key on him and double on him instead of just saying, yeah, we're going to motion him one time, but then guess what? You don't see the motion again for 2 quarters. And now you're saying,
hey, Jesse, let me say this, though, Jesse. Are you really saying that I got the wrong guy that need to say F you? You know, I think that Dangerous Lamb, CD Lamb, 88 on his chest, he need to have that mentality. F y'all. Look, give me the ball. I'm the playmaker. That's what you said. We need to get that out of him this training camp there. We need to talk to that brother.
He needs to go to the sideline and not be soft-spoken. Look at it back and be like, hey, bro. Hey, come on now! This me.
I am him.
I'm him. I love all of that. Don't find me, and that's what it should be. It should be that he should be able to look at Dak and look at him and go like, I almost said a bad word. He should be like, bro, this me. I'm 88. Like, find these numbers. That's it. And if I let you down, then we screwed. But I'm the dude. I'm the dude that you should be coming to every single time, especially in those pressure moments. Absolutely. Michael Irvin would have did it. I played with Des Bryant. I know for sure Des Bryant was like, F that, get me the rock.
Des was like that, yeah.
Hey, Jez, I gotta hit you with this. God damn.
I want to put on some pads now.
You want answers?
I want to put on some pads.
I wish I had that power when I was playing to be like, hey, dog, come to me. They would have told me to shut the hell up. That's fine. Like, Dez was like that. Jason Witten was like that. We get in the huddle, we in the sideline, and Whit be looking at Rumble like, yo, come on. Come, like, that was the beef with him and T.O. back in the day. Like, they drove You know why? They were like, yo, I'm him. Hell yeah, CD. CD gotta be that.
Who's like that right now on this team right now?
Well, offensively?
Nobody, huh?
Yeah.
Nobody.
Offensively?
Nobody.
Zach Martin is the only one because I heard Zach Martin say some stuff, man. He can't do nothing about it, though.
There ain't nobody like that who has like, Mike will be like, yo, rush me. I'm going. Mike might just break the play down. But that goes back to Dak. See, leadership is not always this pretty thing of, hey, guys, come in. Let's go do a group outing. Let's go do breakfast. Leadership is not that. Leadership is going, yo, F this. CD, let's roll. And the rest of the guys, do what the hell you got to do. Give me some time because I'm going to CD. That's leadership too.
But you know who used to be like that, Jesse? And the NFL took it away from him. I know he's no longer on the team. But I seen a young Zeke in 2017 pull his helmet off, run into the crowd and say, come on, get your stuff together. Let's go win. And they took that away from him when they did the whole scandal thing and suspended him for 6 games. But we need somebody similar to like that playmaker mentality. And hopefully it'll be somebody on his team that can wake up and do that. And I don't know who it would be, though, outside of Dak Prescott and maybe CD Lamb, but I don't see that out of them.
I mean, look at the guys offensively. Tony Pollard, he's a soft-spoken guy.
Yep.
CD Lamb, soft-spoken guy.
Facts.
Michael Pollard,
Brandon Cooks would probably. What about Brandon Cooks?
Yeah, what about
Brandon
him?
Cooks? He talks.
Yeah,
he talks.
It's some.
But it's soft-spoken.
He got some of that. He got.
But guys, let me just say something here, just real quick. You guys are going back in a place in a day and time when it was Jimmy Johnson as a head coach, and you had a young Jerry Jones as the owner. The culture of the Cowboys is different. If you too outspoken, they cut you, or they figure out a way to get rid of you.
He said Jason Garrett.
So look,
got a point. You got a point.
Look, listen. Going back to Will McClay. Will McClay is the guy that said over a year ago, I got to find the right type of player that fits into the culture of the Cowboys in terms of how they like to operate. Listen, even Stephen Jones came out and said when a coach got rowdy, I believe it was the old defensive coach got rowdy. He said, that's not the Cowboys' way.
We don't do that. He said worse. He said we don't want to win that way. It was worse.
Right. So anytime you had somebody show some kahunas, show some intestinal manly fortitude, it was like, no, it's our brand. It's our brand. Don't mess up our brand. So I don't know.
To be fair, OC. I'm
saying, look, I don't want to mess
Tyler
up.
Smith and Tyron Steele is going to be those guys that get into the face. I think those are your face guys, but they're on the offensive line. I think Tyler
Maybe
Smith will
so,
be
but
that dude.
yeah, but look, not from a diva. Just real quick, Big. Not from a diva skill position ability. You haven't had that guy in years. Not from the quarterback position. Not from the running back position. Even Ezekiel Elliott is the team guy. Not from the tight end position, except for Witten because he was, adopted into the family, so to speak. So it's like, look, who do you have? And listen, is the culture? My question for Jesse is this, and this is for you, Jesse. Is the culture of the Cowboys okay to have that type of dog and for it to be okay?
Yes. But here's the thing: is that guy, because it's out there defensively. Michael Parsons, that guy. J-Ron Carson's that guy. There's a lot of outspoken guys who are dogs on the defense side of the ball, and they accept it. Dan Quinn's that kind of guy. Wears his hat backwards, gets down in the dirt with the guys. Gets in the press conference and says what he wants, does what he wants. He has that ability to do so. So it's one of those things where if you are successful. And if you are the guy, now, there's certain guys who can't do that, like the Jesse Hollies of the world. You shut the hell up. You shut the hell up. And you might be able to add a little word in, but you ain't demanding nothing. And even when Dez Bryant was doing it, it wasn't in a malicious way. The problem what happened with Dez is when his skills diminished and he wasn't able to put the performance with the mouth. See, right now, CeeDee Lamb is a guy who's in a position where his performance and his talent level is at such a level that they'll deal with whatever the tolerance is. And it doesn't have to be this diva type of mentality, but it has to be that mentality because you're talking about the culture of the NFL. Like Travis Kelce yells at Patrick Mahomes on the sideline. Let's go. I'm ready. Give me the effort. Like that is a cultural thing. And for the Cowboys, you see it. It's happening. I love when you hear the sideline. Our media team at DallasCowboys.com does a great job with the sounds of the sideline.
They do.
Defensively, they do it all the time. Michael Parsons is screaming all the time. Put me back in the game, Coach. I'm not going out. Put me, man. What? DeMarcus Lawrence. He's outspoken. Like I said, J-Ron Curse is outspoken and loquacious. Guys like that, the only time they have an issue with the guy being outspoken is when your productivity is diminishing. If your productivity is there, they don't tell Michael Parsons to shut up. They don't limit his vocal ability on the sideline. They don't limit any of that. They let those guys be dogs. And the thing about that when it comes to Dak Prescott and finding the right guys is what you have to understand is from the quarterback position, it's always protecting the quarterback. It's always protecting that dude. So you have to make sure the guy that you bring in, the thing that kind of worked with Dez and Tony was able to control Dez and understand. Like Tony was like, I had T.O. I was around Antonio Bryant. I was around guys that were way more aggressive than Dez. He understood Dez, so it wasn't affecting his play when Dez would get a little bit rowdy on the sideline. For Dak, he has to make sure that they have to make sure that is always protected because he is the most expensive dude on the field, and if he's off by any way, then they're off in a major way. So, but I mean, CeeDee. But then again, you're asking maybe a guy in CeeDee Lamb to do things that are not in his wheelhouse. Maybe CeeDee
Jesse,
Lamb
can Dak do it though? Because I seen a little bit. He had a little effort attitude in training camp one year.
He definitely.
Can
That's
he keep
the camera.
that intensity?
Yeah, I mean.
That's the damn camera.
That was damn. Yeah, he did it for TV.
Yeah, he did it for TV. Y'all know.
I don't think that was for TV, Big.
Come on, dog.
They had them boom mics, bro. He know they was getting them, bro. We been to training camp, bro. They could have put the mic on us and we wouldn't have known it.
Okay, but for real, just like what they did with Jason Garrett, we ain't never hear Jason Garrett cuss a lot.
Oh yeah, you're right.
And then when they put the camera on, F this, F that. Oh, Jason Garrett is tough. He is tough. He said F words in the conference. I told you he was tough.
Hey y'all. Hey, I'm finna start the fight a word real quick.
Stop that.
So, first, I want to talk about what Jesse said before I get into the final word. The thing that I love that you said the whole show was, why do people have a problem with game management?
Yeah. That's good stuff.
And because Dak, when he's boring, I'm gonna say it again. Boring Dak wins.
Facts.
When Dak protects the football. And see, I was listening close when Jess was speaking, and this is what he said. He said, I'm with my little brother Skywalker, and it'd be times Dak will fit that ball and it will work. But the receiver in Jesse will see it and say, it worked, but he should have been safe. Like that is so underrated. Like, cause see, Bill Parcells said one of the most important things he looked for is a game manager. You know? So Jesse, I just want to say that real quick in my final word, but I appreciated that comment. Great. The second thing I want to say about Jesse is I always tell a story when he when I was kind of getting my feet wet in podcasting and stuff like that. I met Jesse at SportsCon, right? So we chopping it up and I asked him for advice. He gave me some epic advice about getting experience and all this kind of stuff. You know, but we was all networking. We was networking with hundreds of people, right? He don't know me from Adam. So then SportsCon was the next day. I go in and Jesse Holley is on the mic, right? On the fan. Doing his thing. So I'm walking by, and this is what impressed me, is he stopped me. He did me like this, you know? And I came over, and he shook my hand like, what's up, man? Now, it's thousands of people in SportsCon, you know? But Jess tries to remember everybody up in there. You know what I'm saying? Give him that one-on-one experience. Then I saw him at a game. Did the same thing. You know, while he was live, wasn't acting Hollywood, wasn't bigger than nobody, you know, just gave me some doubt. I'm just like you, big dog. So one of the things I want to say in my final words is that I always appreciate you and I always will. The main thing that I appreciate about you, Jesse, is your authenticity. You're one of the most authentic people, period. And I don't know that from watching you on camera. I know that about watching you when you didn't know what I was gonna do this. You didn't know who I was, but you still just went out your way to make me feel special, you know? And that just told me a lot about you. And so some people, you know, they put on religion and stuff like that. Nah, I can really tell you really believe what you say and you really try to live it. None of us are perfect, none of us. But I just appreciate the type of man you strive to be. That's my final word.
That's good.
Hey, I appreciate you jumping on here, Jesse. I got mad love for you, dog. I love the realness. You're hilarious. Like you said, I gotta always check your Twitter because you be going ham. I always gotta hit you up like, hey, dog, come on, man. That's what I love. Jesse don't give a hell. I love it. I have to get in that DM like, hey, man, come on, dog. What we talking about? He like, you right. He like, you right.
Come on, man. And see, the thing about me is the game has changed, but I respect the OG. So when the OG, you gotta be able to humble yourself and go. Then when the OG say something to you, like he ain't saying that to you because he just feel like talking today. You know what I'm saying? Like there is something that in that says, hey, this one not this time. And so I've always been keen to that, and I've always respected. Like even if sometimes I'm like, man, that's OG spoke that means something. So I'm always going to, you know, not bow down, but I'm always going to come to a humble position when an OG genuinely speaks to me, no matter what it is. Like, yo, you bugging. I'm like, man, OG said I'm bugging. All right, let me recalibrate. Let me check that out. Man, I am hungry. OG didn't say that for no reason. And you gotta just eat that. I respect that. And so I'm 40 years old. I ain't never too old for OG to check me and be like, yo, you bugging. That ain't cool. That ain't, yo, relax. That ain't, don't go down that lane. I'm like, you know what? See something I ain't seeing. Let me check my rear view again. Let me check my side mirrors again, because he might be right. Oh yeah, all right. So I'm always. I don't care how old I am. When the OG speaks, I'm like, all right, I'm taking heed to that.
Dope.
Definitely. And just as we get ready for training camp, I don't know about y'all, but I have a hidden excitement.
Yeah.
It's not an outward excitement. I'm not jumping up and down, proclaiming everything. But deep inside, I do have a hidden excitement for this team because I feel like it's becoming one mind, one thought. That's kind of been my mantra for the last couple months. One mind, one thought. It feels like the team is becoming one mind, one thought. It just feels like everybody is on the same page. And I think that's what we've been talking about the last couple of years. Even Dak with his receivers being on the same page, not having tipped interception, not having bad plays. I think that they're becoming that. You see the group. You just saw the pictures with Dak and his receivers. They're getting close. I mean, I feel like I said this yesterday. Since I've been doing podcasting since 2017, I think this is the best receiver group as far as camaraderie, talent, and everything combined from me since 2017. I think this is the best group when I look at it. And I have a lot of optimism when I see it from afar. And I see this defense, I see the coaching, I see them they liking each other. And I feel like, I don't want to say it's a special year, but what I do say is the chips are all in because it could be a lot different next year. So this is a huge year for the Dallas Cowboys, and that's my final word.
Yeah, so Jesse, man, salute and shout out to you. Thanks so much for coming on, man. Every time I turn on YouTube almost, I see you on somebody's show. So, man, you're putting in major work, man. You're doing a fantastic job, man, and just much continued success to you. Man, and look, also, I want to give a special shout out to my boy, my numero uno, my comrade, Boss Cowboy, man, holding down at SportsCon, man. I wasn't able to make it because of work and this, that, and the third. Thank you, Boss. Appreciate you, man. Y'all put some fire emojis in the chat for my boy. Also, Long Nation Sports. Definitely, man, with the plug, man. Letting us, man, be involved, man, with him and Inside the Huddle, man, and all the great things they're doing over there, man. So special shout out also to Law and Inside the Huddle, man. Listen, I miss some people out there, so I got some make goods with some of the supporters. I got some fire content coming and breakdowns before we get into training camp. Man, look, I'm really excited about what we got going on with this team. I think that, man, this, could be the year, man, that the Cowboys, can get that sixth Super Bowl, man. I really believe that in my heart. I think that the stars are aligning, that if we execute, man, this could be the year, man. So I'm excited, and go Cowboys.
I got to say this, OC. I'm being completely honest, right? When I was coming on and I was looking at, who all was going to be on, like, when I say this, like, I'm not afraid of anybody. I was like, man, I gotta be ready for this dude OC, bro. I'm like, he just feel. I'm like, he gonna come with the real facts and content. I'm like, I was a little shook. I was like, nah, I'm going for him. I'm like, yeah, because I never met you, so I didn't know. But I've watched you and I've seen. I'm like, nah, he not gonna catch me. I'm not gonna get in that show. I'm gonna be ready for him.
Man.
I was like, he was gonna come out the gates with some haymakers stuff.
No.
I'm like, okay, I'm ready. Nah, but it's all
man.
all.
No, bro,
Hey, but hold on real quick.
more than did the thing.
Hey, what's crazy, just if we gotta hold the OC back, he don't care. That's what I love about him. Because he gonna speak his mind. That's what I love about him. He don't care. Like, he not starstruck. He authentically about it. But the final word on you, Jesse.
Man, the final word for me, again, appreciate you guys having me on here, man. You guys, those who are listening, please check me out. Follow me on Twitter at Mr. Flip Along, DallasCowboys.com, A to Z Sports Believe, and I got my own stuff coming up on my own podcast. But I think the final word for me is that this is, honestly, in my heart of hearts, I believe that this is going to be the year. If the Cowboys don't get it done this year, I think you see that window significantly close.
Mm.
Because there's going to be a major change. You're going to be changing OCs and head coaches and players getting a year older. And, and a lot of this, we can talk about this being a total team unit, and it is, and that matters. But at the end of the day, you know how it goes. You win and lose with the quarterback. And for Dak, if he doesn't figure out a way, and I don't care about preseason, you can ask Will. I say this all the time. I'm to the point now, I don't even care about regular season. If you can't get it when all chips are on the table in the playoffs, then that's where you make your hay for me. Because regular season is easy, right? Let me take that back. It's not easy. Regular season holds weight, and you have to go through it. But it's different when a team is solely focused on the thing that you do bad, and they want to expose it in the playoffs. And it seems the Cowboys, led by Dak Prescott, have gotten into the playoffs, whether it be him or the OC or the head coach or whatever it may be. Those are the moments in the game. If you want to be considered, if you want to be talked about being in that upper echelon of quarterbacks, in that top tier, right? And people will say, well, this and that and the third. If you win the playoffs, Coach Williams, Roy Williams, my basketball coach, said this to us when we were making our championship run. He said, if you want to be considered the greats, then go be great. But that takes you going to win the national championship. Because every time you walk into a gym and you got North Carolina written across your chest, you're going to get everyone's best. Every time you walk into a stadium with that star on your helmet, you're going to get everyone's best. Whether they're 1-5 or 5-1, you're going to get their best. And if you can't step up to the plate as the leader of this franchise and as a team and do it when it matters the most, then you aren't worth your weight in salt. And if you want to be considered as a great, you want to go down as one of the best quarterbacks in the league and be in that upper echelon conversation, the playoffs, the regular season prepare you, the playoffs make you. And that's the thing the Cowboys have to be able to do that hump. So for me, this on you, buddy. This is the time. You want to be in that conversation with the greats? You want to be talked about with the greats? You want to leave no doubt on the table? Get your team to where they need to get to. Do those 4 or 5 plays when it matters the most. Have that FU attitude. Have that real leadership and say, it ain't all this about getting guys together. That's great. That's good. It ain't all about saying the right things in the media. That's great. That's good. When it's time, the game's on the line. I know people are going to say, he has the most winning. No. Playoffs. That's when it matters. That's what matters. That's when you separate yourself from the pack. This is why we talk about guys like Patrick Mahomes in a different stratosphere than other guys. It ain't because he got a world championship arm. That's great. That's good. That's fun. But because when you get in the playoffs, you get to where you need to get to. You want to get in that conversation, get yourself to the Super Bowl, man, and you'll see things change for you dramatically.
No doubt, man. Ooh, Jesse, man, with the fire. Thank you for building the bridge and allowing us to come over, Jesse. And all positive thoughts with you, always been there for the nation. And I really appreciate you so much. And the words that you said about Dak Prescott, you are 1,000% right. 12-5 is the floor. It was the floor last year, and the Cowboys won a playoff game. But that's not enough. And Dak Prescott, he got to know that. And especially when we start talking about quarterbacks and to separate you from good to great, is what Pat Mahomes did in the Super Bowl. With one leg, the man had one leg against one of the better defensive teams in the National Football League, and he was able to get that first down and chunks of yards to ultimately win that game. So he put the team on his back. So Dak Prescott got to do the exact same thing. Put the team on your back. Everyone have a reason, but results are what matter. And I tell people this all the time. It's better to be prepared for an opportunity and not have one than to have the opportunity and not be prepared. And the Cowboys got to be prepared for the moment, because we are not looking back at this and saying, all right, what happened to this guy? What happened to that guy? We need the results, baby. And how that happened is when we get into these training camps in a few weeks and making sure that you get everything that you're supposed to get out of the mud. That's the reason why they say get it out of the mud, because these boys got to understand that we've been looking over here. We're starving. We're starving for that victory. We're starving for that long span of going through the playoff and making it to the ultimate Super Bowl. And just like what Jermichael Finley said, that he truly believed that this team is a Super Bowl contender if Big Mike McCarthy is calling the plays. And me and Boss Cowboy was saying that, yeah, this is his first year basically. And we need to see these results because even Mike McCarthy, his back is against the wall. Even when he was here this first year, everybody was talking about getting rid of Big Mike. So he got to make sure that he put things in proper places and spaces for this team to elevate. We're not looking for anybody to be talking about, hey, now we need to get the running back. No. Figure that stuff out now. Oh, now we need to get the kicker. No, figure it out now. Be prepared for the opportunity, like I said, Cowboy Nation, and everything will work its way out. And find that playmaker. And you got to find that playmaker, Dak Prescott, and it should be 88. If 88 don't have that FU attitude, guess what, Dak? You got to have that attitude because at the end of the day, nobody's going to get scrutinized and criticized like you. So get ready for it, and we are ready for it. New media, Cowboy Nation, let's continue to grind and shine. Thank you, Jesse Holley, for being on this show. That's been my time, and this is the final word. Let's go, baby!
3, 2, 1, drop it.
And remember, you're listening to nothing but the best. Let's go.
It's time to
Man, this was a fire final word. God, no.
Let's go, baby.
God, dog.
Jesse, walk along, God.
Lately I just wanna run it up. Kinda check or something. I've been really in the field.
I tell you what, that boy Jesse Holley can box.
Oh, yeah.
I've been really in the field.
He can box.
Another one.
For real, he can box.
Don't
Yeah,
need no
man.
deals, I make the deal. Have to take it to a meal. Lately I just wanna run it up. Yeah. Kinda check or something. Lately I just wanna run it up. Count that too, kinda. Yeah, hold on.
Man, yeah, you killed it, Law. Ooh, wee.
Another one.
I need that change to the safe, got blues inside. Greens and pinks, it's all the same.
Yes, sir.
Hustle, save and roll my change. Take some losses when I play.
Charge
Charge it
it.
to the game. I'm with L, yeah, I'm with T Black, I'm with Reverend now. I'm with Bay, yeah, I'm with Jay, yeah, I'm with Chuck and now. Still the same, not switching sides, now it's about loyalty. You switch sides off for the bag, and that's worth more to me. I mix Nike with designer, I experiment. You just rock what's on the shelf, and I'm not feeling it. Search for the one, but baby girl, there's nothing real as this. Can't trust a soul, I keep a hammer, call it too legit. I've been really in the field, love the rush, I love the feel. Lately I just wanna run it up.